Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, we're back with another podcast for that ass. We got the pregame, the tailgate of the Chiefs versus the Carolina Panthers tomorrow. Mike, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Steve, everybody's still pumped up about the DJ Humphries signing. Does his contract guarantee that he is going to start over Wanya Morris? We're going to talk about that today because there's conflicting ideas on that, Steve. But how do you feel about the signing? You didn't get to go live with me yesterday when I broke the signing. Actually, didn't break the signing. I was out to dinner, but I commented on the signing about an hour later. What do you think about the DJ Humphries signing?
I like it. I do. I feel like there's an obvious need at left tackle. Kingsley isn't up to par. He's not ready. Wanya is not great and has injury concerns. And I think that they had to do something to shore it up. And they had to coddle Chiefs Kingdom and stroke their head softly and be like, it's okay. We got a left tackle. Everybody can calm down now. But no, I appreciate
about the stroke.
I appreciate everybody being here today. Do us a favor, hit the like button, get this out to more people. Normally we do the post game later, but we have stuff to do tonight. So we're doing it right freaking now. So thank you for being here. And no, man, I think it's a smart signing. I do. You had a problem. It's very Brett Veachy to go get a guy. Paid him quite a bit for how much is left in the season, but that's something we'll talk about as well. And of course, the title of the video is DJ Humphries' contract guarantees that he starts, or does it? So that's what we should talk about here, Mike. Do you think he's going to start soon?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't think he's not going to be able to start. I mean, I think he's very capable of starting over Wanya. I don't think Wanya is as bad as everybody thinks Wanya is, and the stats back it up, and different things back it up. Like, we talked with Charles Goldman about this tons yesterday. The offensive line is not as bad as people think it is. Like, it's just not. It's a number 6 rated offensive line of football, and we are on pace to have less pressures than Mahomes' last 2 seasons, in which he won the Super Bowl the last 2 seasons, right? How can you have less pressures and you're going to have the same amount of sacks, but yet the offensive line is just so bad? The funny thing is, it's like, well, what are we getting to here? What are we getting to? And we had Orlando Brown Jr. and everybody run him out of town, and he stunk. We won a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah, you know but everybody hated him.
That's
like,
what I'm
literally
saying.
Ran him out of town.
You go back through history, and Mahomes has never had the greatest offensive line. That's why we had to do the entire overhaul back when we lost to the Bucs. But that season we lost to the Bucs, our offensive line was completely fine until they just ate it in the postseason due to injuries. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't know what we want. Like, have we become a fan base that's going to just think that we got to have the top tier every position for us to be able to compete with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce? Or can we be the number 6 rated offensive line and move the ball without making excuses? I don't know. But I do think DJ Humphries is good. I do think he's an upgrade. A lot of people thought that I said he wasn't an upgrade yesterday. He's wholeheartedly an upgrade. He's been in the league longer. He understands more than Wanya at this point. He understands way more than Kingsley at this point. It's great to put him on the roster. He's going to be able to teach them things, but he's also coming off an ACL injury. He's also about to turn 31 years old. He's learning a brand new offense. I will say when he played with Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury and all that for the past few years, he's been doing an RPO-style offense, so that should come easily. But it's just, I don't think it's like this groundbreaking change, and I don't think he's just going to step in tomorrow. Like, he's not even signed with the team and won't be till like Monday or Tuesday. So this week's out, and I would say next week's out on a short week. You think they're going to sign him on a Monday and put him in by Friday? I don't see that happening either. So maybe he starts in 3 to 4 weeks, but I think it's Wanya's job still until he just completely falls apart or something happens to that knee.
So you think if Wanya looks good in the next 2 weeks, they just won't even start DJ Humphries over him? I don't know. I feel like they signed him for a reason.
They did sign him for a reason.
I think when he's ready to go, it's his.
It's very well possible, but you got to remember, does he come off an ACL injury, and is he ready to go in 2 weeks, and one of these being a short week? No. I don't think
I don't know if he'll get in. He's not going to get in tomorrow. He's not going to get in against
You can
Raiders,
maybe
probably.
get him in by, what, Chargers,
Steelers
Texans,
is when I expect to see him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting come December 8th against the Chargers. That'd be my guess.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say, and this goes back to the entire premise of the video. Does his contract guarantee it? He's only making $2 million. The 4.5 is incentive based. So the Chiefs didn't say, here's $4.5 million. The job's yours as soon as you're ready. They didn't say that. That's not what they said. They said, here's $2 million and you can get to $4.5 million. So how do you get to $4.5 million? You have to win the job. You have to play. You have to do a certain amount of snaps. You got to grade a certain score. You got to get us to certain games, AFC Championship, Super Bowl, whatever the incentive is. You have to be able to earn that. They're not giving it to him, or they'd have gave him $5 million to start with. They're giving him $2 million, and now he must earn it. Now, is it easy to earn it over Wanya? It should be. He should be a better left tackle than Wanya. But I'm not going to hold my breath until I see it, because we're always burned by this. You remember when we got Kadarius Toney and everybody's like, that was an immediate upgrade. And it turned out not to be that great. Right? We drafted a bunch of guys. We drafted Kingsley. We thought that was going to be an immediate upgrade. It didn't turn out too well. So I have hopeful optimism, but I'm not going to just like award the dude left tackle of the year and say this is the greatest move by Veach right off the rip. I'm going to have to see it. He's going to have to work for it.
Yeah, for sure. I do have high hopes for it, though. I'm with you on that. Another thing to think about is back when everybody was hating on Orlando Brown Jr. a couple of years ago, trying to run him out of town because he was the worst tackle ever, besides Kingsley and besides Wanya. He was the worst tackle ever. Do you remember specifically having those discussions with Chiefs Keenum, just being like, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side, folks?
Several times we had that discussion.
I don't know. I think I'm with you. I feel like some of the fan base has got to a point where they think we need like all pro every position just to compete, which I don't think we do.
Left tackle's an important position.
It is. That's one that they shouldn't neglect.
Yeah, you're protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side. Like, totally understand all that.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, what's good enough? Like, we've won Super Bowls with Orlando Brown, and he
Donovan
ran out
Smith.
of town.
And by all means, I think DJ Humphries a better option than Donovan Smith. So.
DJ Humphries was a totally better option than Donovan Smith. So, and this isn't us saying DJ Humphries is not a good signing or DJ Humphries
I think
is
it
not
is.
good
I like
or
it.
he's not an upgrade. Just saying that I think that people need to temper down your expectations just a little bit. It's going to take him weeks to get back in there. Matt Derrick actually said this yesterday. He said that Humphries will not play on Sunday versus the Panthers. Obviously, he's not even going to officially sign and complete his physical. He's still got to complete the physical. We've already anointed this guy the left tackle of the year and said that we've Super Bowls in the bag, and he hasn't even completed his physical yet. That's Monday. Like, not trying to curse the dude, but something could go wrong, and we may not even sign him. Wanya is expected to start Sunday, and Kingsley is going to be back on the roster as the active swing tackle over Ethan Driscoll this week. So Kingsley's back up this week. I don't know what happened last week. I feel like that was just like another statement by Andy Reid. You have to get like super low and then maybe they'll pay attention. From everything we're hearing though out of there is like Kingsley is not like in practice like sulking or not trying to work hard or not trying to get things done right. So why there had to be such an extreme hammer on that kid, especially starting him against one of the top 5 pass rushers in football week 2 and putting him on an island 75% of the plays. It feels like they just set that cat up for failure, didn't they? They threw that dude in the deep end, and he don't even know how to doggy paddle.
It is kind of like that. And you think it could have been a thing where they wanted to see what he could do with something like that. Just kind of gauge where he was.
Maybe so.
Potential. But I'm with you. I feel like they brought the hammer down on a kid for something that they set up. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes in the future. But overall, man, I like the signing. I think it's a smart move by Brett Veach. I think it does shore up a little bit of that worry over at left tackle. It could have good effects, man. I mean, maybe that is something that's been bothering Patrick Mahomes and had him off a little bit. Maybe he just doesn't have any trust in his blind side. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I don't know. It's yet to be seen, but I'm with you. I think the earliest we see him is probably around the Chargers on December 8th, and I think he could be starting that game possibly, but we'll see how everything plays out.
Do you think, though, if there's nothing wrong with Wanya's knee, like going forward, like he don't have any more incidents, the knee's holding up, he don't have to be pulled from the game, he don't have to do this or that, do you think Wanya just, like, what does he have to do? Like, do you think right now, as it sits, they're just like, Wanya, you're on borrowed time. As soon as he gets ready, he's in? Do you think it's that situation, or do you think Wanya's going to have to do something egregious from here forward to be pulled?
I don't think they're going to say that, but I think everybody knows the writing's on the wall. Like, once he's ready to go, it's his. I think Wanya's had all year to prove that he is that left tackle, and he's not done it. Whether it through performance, the injuries, this and that, I think the writing's on the wall here. I think DJ Humphries is your starter as soon as he's ready to go. And like I said, I think that'll be sometime around the Chargers game.
Okay.
Does that make Wanya sad, you think? I don't think so.
Does it? I don't know if that's even really true. I think Andy and them are pleased to a certain extent of Wanya's progression.
Why go sign him then?
Because you got to have somebody, because we've already explained this. You were rotating Kingsley that you've destroyed so far, and he's just not it. There's no shame in saying he's not it. He's not even young enough he's not even old enough to buy alcohol. I don't even think. He's fine. But beyond him, you're going to have Ethan Driscoll. So it's the same with Donovan Smith. Not a great signing, but to have someone on the back burner ready to go, I think was the most important thing. So DJ Humphries, you take a look at him. At worst, he's a nice little guy that could play swing tackle and you could have as a backup. And at best, he comes in, he looks good to form, and he beats the job with Wanya. But I just don't think like they're ready to say Wanya just sucks, yank him. Like, Wanya's not looked that bad this year. We've looked at this. We have debunked this myth on the offensive line. Like, Chiefs Kingdom want to look at the games and say, I trust my eyes. You're not coaching in the NFL. I'm sorry. I'm not either. So what do we have to rely on? We have to rely on what the metrics say, what the coaches are saying, what the stats say. That's all we have, right? That's all we have. And by all metrics and all stats, Patrick Mahomes is not getting pressured any more this year than he has in the past 2 years when he won a Super Bowl. He's not.
Well, I mean, the argument to that is there's not as many pressures, but they've ran the ball much, much more than they usually do.
Yeah, well, I looked that up today, too, because I wanted to hear that one, too. So in 2024, we've had 289 rushes. 289, that's 44% of our snaps have been rushes. That's a huge, huge difference. It's not. In 2023, we finished with 417 rushes, rated as 25th in the league, and it's 40%. So we're running 4% more rushing plays. That's 4 rushes out of 100 plays we're running differently. That's it. 4 plays out of every 100. So let's throw that out the window too, because you can't tell me that those 4 plays have made such a monstrous difference. Even if you give them the 4 pressures on the 4 extra pass plays out of the 100, you're still on pace to have the lowest pressures you've had in 3 years.
Right. Greg Goodwin with the 2 bomb says, you think Kingsley got a reality check for being cocky? I don't know if that's the case. I don't think Kingsley went in there thinking he was going to be the shit or anything. Do you? Like, I feel like he was pretty humble.
I think he's a confident kid, though. Like, he thought, like, he could come in and play the position. And then I think, like, putting him on an island versus Trey Hendrickson and Oweh and all those pass rushers for Baltimore. It's like, hey, welcome to the NFL, rookie. But I don't know why you had to destroy him for it.
I don't know, man. I mean, Kingsley may have been a little overconfident. I'm not for sure. It's hard to say. We do know the skill set the kid has and the intangibles. I mean, the speed, the strength, and everything like that. So maybe he was a little overconfident, but we know that there's a massive difference between college and the NFL.
Right. Yeah, there's a huge difference. Huge difference.
So, yeah, appreciate the 2, Greg Goodwin. But, Mike, let's get to talking about this Panthers versus Chiefs matchup. That's what we're here for, baby. It's the Saturday tailgate. Everybody's a little horned up about that tackle signing, but we're also horned up about this game tomorrow. Mike, do you think this is going to be a get-right game for the Kansas City Chiefs where Patrick Mahomes can get back to his fundamentals, get his footwork right, get everything going, and just get this offense rolling in the right direction going into the back part of the season and the playoff run?
That's what we want. That's what we're hoping for. Do we see it? I don't know. I'm going to be dead honest. Like, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see tomorrow. Are you going to see a better game plan? Are you going to see more deep balls? Like, I think that's something. I think you should go into the game not necessarily looking to blow a team out, not necessarily looking to do that kind of stuff. But I think when you say a get-right game, how about we use this game to take several shots down the field and see if we can start to get that chemistry built a little bit? How about we use this game to try to implement Noah Gray just a little bit more? He's proven that he can handle the workload, and he has looked very good.
No great.
So how about we do that a little bit? How about on our defensive side of the ball, we maybe don't call as many blitz plays, okay, because we are one of the highest blitzing teams right now, percentage, because our front four is not getting home. How about we tell Chris Jones and them, hey, you guys bust that ass and go get a sack tomorrow. You're playing a pretty pathetic offensive line, and you're playing Bryce Young, who is the middle school version of a NFL quarterback. Like go get the kid. Yeah, like go get him. Like let's work on things we can work on, and it doesn't matter what the score is at the end of the day. Like if we win by 10, if we win by 3, if we win by 30, is that more important, or would it be more important if at the end of the day you said, wow, Patrick Mahomes completed 5 passes of 20 yards or more, and Worthy caught one deep ball again that they didn't sell out of bounds, that he didn't drag his toe on. You know what I mean? Like I think it's the little things.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think you need to have like a pretty good win here. I think just to build some confidence, get some momentum going your way. I mean, it's hard to say you don't have momentum when you're 9-1, but you did just take your first loss of the season, and the team hasn't looked up to par. I think the team is definitely a better team than they were at this time last year. I think the record shows that. I think the talent on the team shows that. But they just don't have it all together yet. And we've talked about why. You know, there's a lot of different things going on. Injuries mainly. I mean, the team that they game planned for the entire offseason is not that team. And then you had to get new pieces in, trying to figure out how to use them, get them comfortable in the offense and or defense, whatever it might be. And you've seen them go get a lot of different pieces. Like on defense, you had Cam Thomas, Joshua Uche, and together they've probably took like 10 snaps. And it's just like they keep going to get these guys, and they're not really utilizing them yet. When do they start putting that into effect? When do they start getting more time on the field? I don't know. There's a lot to it, but I think we're going to see a lot in the back half of the season. I think this is the game where the Chiefs could go out and spank a bad team and just get some confidence, get some momentum, and let it roll out from here, man.
Yeah, I add that to the list. Josh Uche needs to play some more. Can we see what he's got? Can we let him rush the passer a little bit? There's several things that we could be working on, but in hindsight, you're looking up a little bit. Like we are getting healthier across the board. Pop's about to return. Omenihu's about to come back. That's going to help the pass rush.
Huge.
Pacheco, if anything, provides a little bit of a spark. He provides a little bit of rest for an aging Kareem Hunt, who, by the way, has found the fountain of youth this year.
Killing
like
it,
he looks good. So let's just extend that a little bit. Let's let those two complement each other. One don't have to take the starting job and just put the other one into oblivion. No, They can do this together. And we don't have much of a third down back. P. Ryan has just not turned into what we thought he could be. And Clyde is obviously not getting back. Clyde's just not coming back, apparently. Like, he's just taking that sweet time getting back for whatever reason. And it might be a great reason, but he's just not there. So maybe Pacheco can give us a little bit of what Jerick McKinnon gave us, which is catching the ball out of the backfield and a decent pass protection. He's not the greatest pass protector in the world, but Pacheco does protect like he does everything with a lot of enthusiasm and grit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll hit you. He might not always be in the right spot, but he tries. He puts in a lot of effort, man. So there's a lot of things we can look forward to.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also weird, too. Like, here's the thing about it. We're talking about this game like it's an automatic win, that we can use it to practice and this and that. And I feel like that's just a little bit of that Chiefs fan spoiledness, or whatever you would like to call, whatever the word is for that. Because I mean, yes, I understand the Panthers are a bad team. They're not a good team. The Chiefs are one of the best teams in football, if not the best team in football. So it seems it should be that way, right? But at the same time, any team can beat any team on any given Sunday in the NFL. We've seen it a million times. So I think they have to really focus in on this game. They can't overlook it and things like that. So just to talk about a few things from the game that I think that the team really needs to focus on. We'll get to those, but first let's talk about the injury report, Mike. I think we have it right here. Chamari Connor, full participant, but he had a little thumb thing. Brian Cook had a rib problem. Kareem Hunt and that knee. We've talked about that earlier. Juju still with a hamstring thing, but all of those guys are good. They were full participants. They're going to be playing. And then Isaiah Pacheco, Charles Omenihu, of course, you mentioned. They're not going to be playing this game, and they've been back in limited amounts at practice. But let's look at the other side of the ball here, Mike. So Miles Sanders being out with the ankle, that's a big one for them. Questionable Jadeveon Clowney. Well, you were talking about this team, Mike. He was the first person that even showed up on the top 100 players this year.
Yeah, for pass rushers. He was number 68. That was their best pass rusher. A'Shawn Robinson was rated number 50 as an interior. And he did get back to doing some full practices, so he'll probably play.
Right, but it's pretty extensive if you look at theirs. You guys can kind of look at this as we go. But you also see that Amari Barno, the outside linebacker, is doubtful with a knee injury. LeBrian Ray, Adam Thielen, both questionable. Thielen only practiced limited. And then DJ Johnson, Jonathan Brooks, both questionable with knees. And then you still got Jalen Coker, wide receiver, DJ Wanham, and Eddie Pinheiro,
the kicker, that showed up on the report as a surprise. That just kind of come out of nowhere on Thursday.
Right.
He's been a pretty solid
don't have
kicker
anybody
this year.
Solidly out besides Miles Sanders, but at the same time, there's a lot of injuries that they're going through. So they're already a depleted, not good team. And they're dealing with a lot of injuries. So I think the injury report kind of favors the Chiefs here. The only two people we have out are two people we fully expected to still be out. And that's, of course, Charles Omenihu and Isaiah Pacheco. I think as far as health goes, I think the Chiefs have the edge here. But just a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, Mike. I think that the Chiefs' rush defense has to continue to hold up. They've been very good all year. They've stopped just about every big name you can think of this year. They've held them to nothing, basically. But this is another week where they're going to be tested because Chuba Hubbard is the fourth leading rusher in the entire NFL right now. He's been very, very good. So I think that's something that the Chiefs are going to have to focus on is stopping that run game. What do you think?
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's always like a beast in the backfield. You mentioned Miles Sanders. That's more like their change of pace back. But the Chiefs have done well stopping the run all year. So I don't think that is a problem. If you think that Chuba Hubbard is the reason that we're going to lose to the Panthers and there's nothing else there, the kid's going to have 250 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
I don't see that happening.
But you don't want it setting up other things that shouldn't happen.
You don't. Now, here's another thing, too. Their wide receivers are not the greatest either. They've actually traded Mingo. Didn't they trade Mingo at the trade deadline to Dallas, right?
To Dallas, yeah.
So they traded Deontay Johnson away to the Ravens. So they've literally got old man Thielen, who, by the way, can play. He would be great on our team, probably, that the Chiefs didn't even want to look at him. Okay, we've learned that they just said, no, thank you. We don't need Adam Thielen 2 years ago when our receivers sucked. Yeah, he's questionable, but he probably will play. I don't think they have enough weapons to line up against us because if you think Adam Thielen's going to beat Trent McDuffie play in and play out, you're out of your mind. It's not happening. Now, our CB2, I went back and watched. A lot of people are down on Najee Johnson. I fully understand Najee Johnson's not looked great at CB2. I thought Josh Williams looked better in his 2 games than Najee Johnson's looked in his 4 games at CB2. I really have. But here's what I'll say. Najee Johnson, last game, they attributed him, I think, giving up 9 catches. 2 of those, like that one ball that Josh Allen moonballed and he got his foot in and he drug the second foot, that whole thing. A couple of those were just perfectly placed balls that really Najee couldn't help. So I understand that. So I would say Najee on the day maybe give up 3 to 4 passes that he could have maybe played better on.
He didn't look great. Let's just say that.
Right. He didn't look great, but I don't think he looked as bad as you think on initial watch either. Spags even kind of confirmed that. He come out yesterday and said, hey, there was a couple really good thrown balls Nazee's way. Najee didn't play as bad as it looked. And I think at some point you got to trust coaches a little bit. I know that we second guess. That's what we do. We're a podcast. People get so mad that we talk football. How boring would it be if we got on here and were just like, Chiefs are good today. Come on, we're gonna win. Put your cheerleader outfit on. Let's go. And then we just log off. It's that wasn't make for a fun show. Like we're gonna talk football and we're gonna do it. And why? Because we love the Chiefs and we want to see everything. We want to see them get better. This is why we have conversations. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just do not think their offense can match up with our defensive talent across the board. Across the board, and that includes Najee Johnson and our safeties. Last week, we seen our safeties get put in a lot of man-to-man situations. They really did. He didn't use Chris Rowland Wallace or Josh Williams at the nickel position very much, and it caused our safeties to have to line up a lot of man-to-man. This week, you could get beat a little bit. They drafted a guy out of Texas that we really like that plays tight end. Sanders.
Yeah.
Jatavion Sanders. You may see Jatavion Sanders get behind our linebackers in zone or something again this week. You may see that. But I don't think it's going to be enough to do anything. I think it's just the way Spag's defense is set up that, like, he's going to allow certain people to do certain things. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, you can't really stop everything in this league. You got to pick your poison. And I think he sees it as, hey, if the tight ends get a few yards here and there, we'll deal with it.
Right. Well, sticking on the defense, like I said, run game, stopping the run game needs to hold up. But also something that they have to shore up after last week's performance, and that is third down defense. They were absolutely atrocious last week, and that is probably the very reason they lost the game, because Buffalo was able to get a first down at will on third downs. That's another thing. I know this it's not the same type of caliber team, but it doesn't matter who you're playing if you're letting up every freaking third down. So, I mean, that's something they really got to focus on this week as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense is locked in. I think they're a little tired. I think the offense is doing a bad job over the past few weeks of being able to run the clock like they were doing a few weeks ago. Like when they were going on that big streak, probably in like week 4, week 5, week 6, and you started seeing a lot of Kareem Hunt in his first few weeks. Maybe they're trying to back off Kareem Hunt a little bit, and that's causing our offense to not stay on the field with as many long drives. Maybe that's what's happening. But, man, I'll tell you, I just feel like across the board they're going to be completely fine. I really do. I just don't see anything that Carolina can throw at us. I know a lot of people in the chat, or at least a couple people, are saying they see an upset. I think it would be pretty crazy to see the Panthers get a win. It might not be a blowout, but to watch them win the game would be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. Mike, we got our old boy KW in the house with the
baby.
100 bomb. Let's go, my man.
Damn.
Freaking
KWL
nuke out here.
Throwing out a Christmas gift, huh?
Hell yeah, let's go. He says, Merry Christmas to the best Chiefs duo on YouTube. We appreciate you, my man. Good to see you, by the way. Hope you've been doing well. It's been a good season so far. I mean, we're 9-1. So hope you're having a good time, my man. Good to see you back in here. Appreciate the donation. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Merry Christmas to you too. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. There's going to be some Thanksgiving stuff. We'll have tons of more time to talk before Thanksgiving, obviously. But who's excited in the chat for a little turkey? Is it a turkey? Are you guys turkey or ham people?
Look,
I run into more and more ham people, and
I'm
it
tired
amazes
of it.
me.
I'm tired of it. Okay, people. I think it's like the bandwagon thing. Like everybody's like, I like ham better. Look, man, you can call turkey dry all you want, but somebody didn't cook it right. Okay, turkey's good.
You think Arby's cooks a good turkey?
Hey, just accept it. Turkey's delicious. It's a good bird.
I will say turkey can dry out. If you're not good at it, it can be like eating shoe leather.
Hey, you got to show KW some love in the chat. Put some nukes out there and some legendaries for him. Appreciate you, my man. Thanks for supporting the channel.
Let's go, baby.
That's freaking
Appreciate
awesome.
you, brother.
But yeah, let's see. So we've talked about the defense a little bit. Another thing, we'll flip it over to the other side of the ball, man. Let's go offense here. The offense has got to put some points on the board. It's been a while since we've seen the Chiefs really get over 30 points. We talk about how is it going to happen? I don't know. Offense has slowed down. They're more of a running team now, this and that. But you're playing the Carolina Panthers. Everybody's expecting a full blowout here. They're expecting the Chiefs to go out and hang 40 on the board. But if you look at it, Mike, Carolina's held their last two opponents under 23 total points. So their defense has kind of stepped up in the last couple of weeks, and I think they're starting to play a little bit better football. So I don't think the Chiefs can take them too lightly.
Yeah, I don't think they're overlooking it. I think a lot of people missed the joke. It kind of went over the head when we had the Andy Reid fib story, and they were like, "You guys don't respect opponents like Andy Reid." It was a joke.
If
Anybody really thought Andy Reid was going to come out and say that the Panthers just sucked and we were going to win in a blowout, like nobody believed that. It was a joke. It was fun. Have some fun in life, okay? It's not that serious. But yeah, I believe that they very much respect anybody in the NFL. It's tough to win in this league. It really is, and it's any given Sunday. But I just do not see the Panthers having enough firepower across the board to be able to compete. Now, look, could they scheme up some good plays? Could they catch us in a haze? Could they catch us out of position a few times? It's very possible on offense and defense. But look, if Patrick Mahomes takes care of the football, Andy Reid don't get too cute. we stick to our bread and butter and we start to figure this thing out just a little bit on offense, and maybe we put up 21. Maybe we put up 28. How much do you think the Panthers are going to be able to put up on this defense? Like, what do you think? You think the Panthers can score 30?
Well, in the chat, Angry Drunken German makes a good point. This defense really dropped the ball last week, so they're going to be looking for a bounce back game too. So, and honestly, we do have a good defense. So if they come out with a little chip on their shoulder,
right?
Good luck.
And honestly, was
Carolina.
it the worst defensive performance you ever seen? I mean, they a few plays here and there, but for the most part, I felt like for the most part they did enough that we should have been able to win the game if the offense would contribute in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, really all season long, and even last year, a lot of the time, I think the offense stalling and not keeping the ball, like just wearing the defense out, was like the biggest problem. And I think we're still seeing it this year. It's a little lopsided. That offense has got to hold up to their side a little bit as well here. Chief Kelsey says Stone Cold will take a blue chew before the game and just club anyone trying to block him from getting to the quarterback. You think that could happen, Mike? Should we send him a box of blue chew so he goes around knocking everybody out with that dong?
That's assault with a deadly weapon. And you can't condone that. So I don't know about it. Leave the blue chew out of it.
That's awesome, Chief Kelsey. TGZ with a 2 says both turkey and ham. Why only choose one? I can roll with that. I mean, if you want to eat both, that's great.
What's the one where you shove something up the other one's ass just over and over again? Turducken? How does that work? Is it turkey, then duck, then ham?
Chicken.
There's a chicken in it? So then we're bringing chicken
in? That's where the Ken comes in. Turducken.
You're bringing a chicken in on Thanksgiving? I just don't know if that's
think people do
even real.
turduckens for Thanksgiving, do they?
Is that why?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
What's a freaking turducken?
People eat turkey other times of the year. I don't think people actually cook big turkeys other times of the year.
You know what I've never really ate duck.
No.
Steve, our uncle nicknamed you Duck when you was a kid because you had big old feet.
That's not true.
You were Duck.
It wasn't because my feet were big.
But why was it?
We were supposed to be leaving to go somewhere, and I accidentally put your shoes on.
Oh, that's why he called you Duck.
So it looked like my feet were big. Yeah, there we go. Get it right.
Shout out
Get
Uncle
it
Tim.
right. Uncle Tim. Rest in peace, Uncle Tim. He was a character. He knocked out Muhammad Ali with a frozen chicken one time.
That's what he says. And he kind of looked like Marv from Home Alone.
Well, I mean, I've heard the story almost corroborated, so I think it really happened.
That's true. It's pretty wild.
He caught Cassius with the frozen chicken.
He caught Cassius with the chicken.
Off guard. I mean, what else are you going to do if someone like that's going to beat you up? You got to use something, whatever you got laying around.
Hey,
if
man.
it's just a frozen chicken, if it's a tire iron, whatever it is, you got to use it.
There's no shame in throwing around that chicken. I hope. Never mind. Never mind. I was going.
Mike, getting too crazy on a Saturday evening.
Yeah, I consider this morning time still. At 3. For some reason, I feel like it's morning. I don't know. I guess because we've been doing a lot of morning live. So in my head, I feel like when I see 3:12 p.m. our time, I'm thinking, boy, it's early.
One more fun fact about this game before we get into predictions and stuff, Mike. Do you know when the Chiefs lock up their 10th win of this season, whether it is against the Panthers or whoever, that this will be 10 consecutive seasons with 10-plus wins? What about that, man? Did you ever see that coming back in the Palco days?
A little 10 for 10.
What about it?
Well, look, I'm going to say this. The Chiefs have not always been the greatest postseason team. We've not really won a lot of Super Bowls. But I will say growing up, minus a few small eras.
Whew, about that 2008 mark, buddy.
We won a lot of games in the 90s. We were one of the winningest teams in the 90s. Now, that didn't translate in the postseason. Vermeil won a lot of games when he was here, and then it got nasty. So yeah, it did look bleak for a while. Yeah,
you're talking about the Todd Haley years, the Romo Cornell. Those are bad teams,
dude. Just Andy Reid's done a hell of a job with this team. That's all there. That's
all
there is
to baby. It. He's the greatest.
The greatest. I honestly think the hiring of Andy Reid could be just as influential on this franchise as the drafting of Patrick Mahomes.
Dare I say more?
Well, I won't say more because I don't think there's any other quarterback that could have won a Super Bowl here with Andy. I don't think I
I
don't
think Alex
Smith
might have been
could
able
done
to.
it.
Maybe not, but I think he was right on the cusp there, man. I think it could have happened.
I think you were a solid playoff
could have
team. You had a
happened.
chance.
Yeah.
You had
But
a
no,
chance.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Patrick Mahomes. I think him and Andy together, I guess, is just what changed this entire franchise.
But
It's hard to discredit
It's still
either
not
of them.
taking nothing from Patrick Mahomes, but I do feel like Andy is such a good developer at the position and different things. You see it this year. Like, if you literally had to road with Carson Wentz, we probably win just as many of these games.
Let me ask you this. If Alex Smith would have had the defenses that Patrick Mahomes has had instead of the
That's
Greg
also true.
Robinson or what was the guy's name that used to be there before Spags?
Man, I can't even remember.
It wasn't Greg Robinson, was it?
Greg Robinson was back in the Vermeil days.
No. Well, who am I thinking of then? What was it? An old dude's name? Sutton?
Bob Sutton.
It was terrible. It was so bad. It was literally like they were in a prevent defense the entire game. If they would have had some better defenses, if they'd had a Spags defense with Alex Smith, do you think he could have got over the hump?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, I think he could have. So, but yeah, still, Patrick Mahomes came in and took the league by storm and made Chiefs fans' lives much better.
Do you think there's any other QB that Andy Reid could have drafted? Any other QB in the league right now that could have won Super Bowls here with the Chiefs? Just say you couldn't get your hands on Patrick Mahomes. Something happened, and the Bears actually made the right decision. And instead of taking Mahomes, instead of Trubisky, they took Mahomes. Is there anyone else? Assuming if they took one that draft, they'd have probably took Deshaun Watson. Good night.
No, don't see it. I mean, it's really hard to say, but I think the only ones that could potentially have won a Super Bowl here with Andy Reid would probably be Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. But the problem with those kind of guys is like, and I know Mahomes makes some dummy decisions sometimes and turns the ball over and stuff, but he don't do it at really terrible times.
But do you think Andy would have coached that out of him? That's what I'm saying. Andy is that QB whisperer.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Justin Herbert, maybe even. I don't know about that, but maybe.
I think Joe Burrow could have done
Burrow, maybe. Yeah. There's a handful of them that.
Do you think Jalen Hurts could have done it here? I mean, Jalen Hurts has been to the big game.
I don't think so.
Do you think Jalen Hurts actually would do worse under Andy Reid than he's done during Sirianni's years?
No.
He's got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was nothing to do with him.
What was it? The tush push?
No, I mean, they had a good defense that year. They have an excellent offensive line. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't think that.
With the Chiefs, we would have had that. We just had the conversation. You would have Spags' defenses. You would have decent offensive line.
Jalen Hurts ain't it, bro. He's not it. He's like a mediocre running back playing quarterback.
I'm not saying he's great.
That might be mean of me to say, but that's what I feel like. I just feel like he doesn't seem like a threat at all.
Offense with him running like an RPO style with his legs and things, I feel like he could be effective.
Who do you think would have been the best one? I'm going to take the controversial route here. I think that Lamar could have been the best.
What do you mean the best non-Mahomes quarterback in a Chiefs uniform under Andy?
With
Reid?
Andy, yeah, I think it could have been Lamar. And let me explain why. Remember how good Michael Vick was with Andy Reid? Like, I think maybe Andy could have got him throwing the ball more and got him a little more accurate at throwing the ball. Then when he used his legs, it would have been nasty.
Well, Lamar
nasty.
does tend to still, even in the system he's in, tends to use the tight end. So with Kelsey,
exactly, I think that could have been it. And if you had Lamar in the headspace of throw first and use your legs if you have to, that would be a totally different Lamar Jackson. But they've made him into a running back that's always looking to run. And when he has to throw, he can't do it because he just doesn't do it.
I'll go a little different. I think Josh Allen could, but I think sometimes Josh Allen presses a little too much. But Josh Allen is that gunslinger that Mahomes was in his first year. Mahomes has kind of had that gunslinger coached out of him, sadly. He doesn't take many
I wish
shots.
He would come back a little bit.
He's not very aggressive. We ran through this stat yesterday. Since 2018, Patrick Mahomes has finished dead last in football almost every year. He's been in the bottom 3 out of every quarterback every season on aggressiveness rating. And all that means is when he completes a pass or he incompletes a pass, there's a defender within 1 yard of the receiver. So he's literally going between like 7 to 8% every year, which means he don't really take a lot of chances, but he don't really do a lot of turnover plays either, which is very good. So I feel like if you put Josh Allen in that position, you may have way more turnover plays, but it seems like Josh Allen's luck isn't as bad as Mahomes, because Mahomes just gets picked off in the most ungodly situations, and then you can have Josh Allen in quicksand, throw it up backwards and left-handed, and it'll find a way to hit his receiver. So,
or they'll make some kind of amazing one-handed catch.
Right. So I'll say if not Lamar Jackson, I think I would take Burrow over Allen, to be honest. Because I think Burrow is very I'll put it this way. I think Burrow with a nice coach and a good offensive mind like Andy Reid would be very play within the system. He's not overly flashy. The fans make him out to be a jerk, but I don't feel like he is himself. So I feel like he would play within the system, and I feel like he'd take care of the ball better.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
I think either of those two, honestly.
I think it might be those two.
Yep. Gamer player in the house with the freaking 10 bombs is happy to see Veach making moves even after the trade deadline. Will they work? Who knows? I'm with you, gamer player. I think, this has obviously been an issue throughout the season. A lot of people were wanting to see something done before the trade deadline. They want to see him signing all these other guys. There's just not been a whole lot there, but when something is available, like, hey, DJ Humphries coming back from injuries, he's a good left tackle. I mean, Brett Veach made the move. He did what he had to do, and I think it was a smart move. If nothing else, it gives you a little bit of depth there, but I do think that he'll end up starting.
Yeah, I think he probably starts by the end of the year. But again, everybody's under this misconception that he's got paid $4.5 million. Money talks. He's starting. That's not the case, guys. He's making $2 million. The rest of it is incentive-based, which means he has to earn those incentives, right? If they would have come out and said, hey, he's getting $4.5 million
right,
instantly, no incentives, there you go. That means he's going to play. But $2 million with a chance to earn $2.5 million in incentives is not that crazy of a contract. He's making about the same amount of money as, Justin Watson's going to be making. Like, Justin Watson's not guaranteed to be a starter.
Right. Well, he is on this team sometimes.
Well, he is on this team. But I'm just saying, Joshua Uche is going to make $1.3 million this year. Of course, that contract got carried over, but still, $1.3 million, this dude's not even been on the field hardly. They don't even let him play.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. $2 million is not much money for an NFL franchise. The incentive being bigger than the actual initial contract is the key there, because that means incentive. You must win the job. You must play a certain amount. You must win certain games. The incentive is the deal here. So do they think he could do it? I think they would. And I think DJ Humphries is betting on himself. That's why he took the contract of all the incentives, kind of like the way Chris Jones and everybody does, right?
Right. Well, we're going to get into some predictions for this game coming up, but real quick before we do that, just take 25 seconds and watch this. Christmas is right around the corner, and we've brought back the popular Merry Chiefsmas sweater and hoodie in the store. Just go to merch.allchiefedup.com and you can use the code ACUSANTA, that's ACUSANTA, and you can get 20% off of everything in the store until the end of the year. So get your hands on those and give some gifts to your family and friends. Let's go, baby. Getting that Christmas spirit, baby. Getting that Christmas spirit. But yeah, we're going to get into some predictions for this Carolina game. But first, real quick, just want to tell you thank you for being here today. We went in a little earlier time than usual on Saturday for a tailgate, so we appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. Do us a favor, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching from X, if you could repost this out to your followers, that would be great. And if you're watching on Facebook, just share that with your friends as well. But appreciate you guys being here. Mike, I'll go first today. I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's going to be a nice little get-right game for the Chiefs. And I'm not going to go crazy with it, but I don't think that they're going to score a lot of points. I don't. So I think there's going to be a pretty big gap there. I'm going to be very generous and give them 10 points, which I have a feeling our defense could potentially even shut this team out. But let's just go with 10. But I think the Chiefs break that 30 mark. I think they do. I'm going to go 35-10 Chiefs. A get-right game, just something for the offense to actually look like they're functioning smoothly. I think the Chiefs control time of possession. And like I said, the defense bounces back from last week. And that's where I'm at with it. I think I'll give player of the game to Patrick. I think it's time for him to sling 3+ touchdowns and just look more like Patty of old.
Okay. I'm going to go 27-16. I think it'll be right at 9 points. I don't think we cover the spread of 11. I don't think we get to 30, but I do think you see things a little bit better. So I'm going to say 27-16. Is that what I said? So 27-16, and I'll give the game ball to... I'm honestly going to give the game ball to a defensive player. I think tomorrow either Chris Jones is going to get home a little bit, or I think George is finally going to get home a few times tomorrow. So I'll say defensively, and then offensive, I'll give it to, I think Kelsey. I think Kelsey will get the end zone tomorrow. I think Kelsey will have a nice day.
Kelsey needs
something.
Yeah.
That dude is half asleep. Like, somebody needs to wake him up.
He had a couple good games there, and then he went back into hiding last week.
Went into hibernation, huh?
Yeah, but no, overall, I do think this is a perfect game for the Chiefs to just work on their execution, fundamentals, like Patrick's been saying. He's got to get back to the basics, make sure his mechanics are good. I think there's just little things that he can be working on this week. And I think the Chiefs are just the far superior team here. As long as they go out and do execute, I think it's an easy win for them. So that's where I'm at with it, man. It should be a fun one for everybody. I see your all's predictions in the chat here. I'll just read through a few of them. But Chef T says 30-17. Fred Smith 30-13. Night Hunter 38-13. Chief Kelsey 33-16. Charles Driver 28-12. 31-10 from Talon. 24-9 Brian Parrott. Chiefer says 27-20. He's got a little bit closer. He's got that PTSD where you can't pick a good little blowout. You just can't do it sometimes, Chiefer.
27-20.
That's probably the smart play there. Ray 31-17. Irwin 42-17. But yeah, a gamer player with the 5 bomb says, what do you need after your first L? A game against the Panthers. Thank you, Lord. 35-13. MV Pat with 3 TDs. He's right there with me, man. I said 35-10. Pat with 3+ TDs. So we're on the same page, gamer player. Appreciate the 5 bomb, my man.
Yeah. I mean, I called the Mahomes 3 touchdowns last week, so Mahomes is still putting up touchdowns. I mean, was that his first 3 touchdown game of the year last week?
Yeah. Fred Smith is Worthy's going to have a bomb touchdown. That's a good possibility. Mike was saying earlier he thinks they need to take more shots this week. This week's the week to work on that connection there, and I can't say you're wrong. I think they should definitely take some deep shots and see just what they can get going. I think also this week could definitely be a D-Hop week too. Like he's got to get more snaps than 26 in a game, especially in a big game. Now this game per se, if he only had 26 snaps, I wouldn't have thought not that much about it. But only having 26 against Buffalo, I feel like was egregious. But maybe this week they can get that connection going a little bit, get a little more confidence there from Patrick Mahomes to D-Hop. And like you said, just basically work on things that could help throughout the rest of the season in the playoff run.
Yeah. Well, I will say this about Mahomes. Since the 20th, October 20th, we played the 49ers. That game, he looked pretty bad. He was a 59% completion percentage, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. He had a QBR of 44.4. That's horrible. But since then, the Raiders, he picked it up, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 262 yards. The Bucks, 3 touchdowns. So that was his third touchdown game of the season. The Broncos, 1 tutty, no picks, 266 yards, but a 92 QBR there. And then the Bills, if you take away the 2 interceptions and you maybe give him a few more yards on some of those, because he finished under 200 yards. But he did have the 3 touchdown day and finished with a 90 QB rating. So I do think Mahomes has gotten better drastically over the last 4 weeks. So the last month, Mahomes has looked a lot better than he did in the first, 2 months, right? So in his first 7 games, he didn't look very good. And then the last 3 to 4, he's looked okay. So he's starting to progress back into the Mahomes. What we're seeing, I think a lot of it is just something to do with Andy and everybody just finding what works and who he's being able to trust at the moment. But I'm with you. I think you may see Worthy continue to get a lot more work this week, but I think Mahomes' success really hinges on how much they can get Travis Kelce involved.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it all year. Like, can we just get a little pitch and catch to Kelsey going?
You want to
just
know
target
why?
him for a little bit, and they did it for a couple games, and that's when we opened up a little bit,
Right.
and then they went right away from it.
But you want to know why? If you look at average separation throughout the league, you would think it would be Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, those big name wide receivers, Tyreek Hill. It's not. The most average yards per receptions comes from tight ends. So the scheme, the way the NFL is, and it doesn't matter who it is, you can go down the book. Like Cole Kmet has more average yards of separation than Tyreek Hill. Make that make sense. I don't know how, but it has to be something due to scheme. And tight ends, the linebackers and the slot corners and some of the safeties in this league versus the athletes that have came into the league at tight end, that's the biggest mismatch on every field. And you can see it even with our defense. As good as we are, where are we mismatched every week? To the tight end position. The tight end position is the key in the year 2024 of offenses being able to eat. And that's why Mahomes and everybody's been so successful for the last 5 or 6 years is because of Travis Kelce. So if Kelce is too old and he's lost a step, let's come to the reality and let Noah Gray maybe get some more snaps. Because I believe Noah Gray can do it. But I don't think Kelsey's there yet. I just think we need to utilize him more. So I want to see more 2 tight end sets with Gray and Kelsey. And we need to start utilizing that tight end position more because I do believe that is the key in every offense versus every defense in the NFL. It's the tight end position.
Yeah, I mean, it's proved to be a killer over the years for the Chiefs. So Fred Smith with the 2 bombs says Worthy to D-Hop to Kelsey, 100 yards. Do you think they all 3 get 100 yards tomorrow? No. That'd be absolutely insane, bro. Pick one. You can only pick one. Who will have 100 yards plus receiving?
Kelsey.
Say Kels. That's the safe play, right?
I think he has a better day tomorrow. I think they're on pace with me. Like at some point, you've got to realize that you've got to get Kelsey more involved. I don't care if you just force the ball to him 20 times. Like you have to have a game where he looks better.
Fred Smith said 100 hards. That means he's sending out the blue chews to the team tomorrow. Got to watch it, Fred Smith. He says Worthy. I mean, there could be at least one pass play to Worthy that chunks off 50 yards, right? So, I mean, you get a couple deep balls to Worthy, and it doesn't take many more small receptions to hit that 100 mark.
No.
I mean, didn't he have 60 on the first drive against Buffalo?
Yeah, he could definitely do it. Look, there's just certain things they're not really doing a lot. I feel like they're only using Worthy, or Mahomes is only looking to Worthy, it seems, on deep throws. Why are we not running more meshes with Worthy? Why are we not giving them across the field? We need to start utilizing more of the way we use Tyreek Hill a little bit. Because Tyreek Hill would eat people alive going across the middle of the field.
Well, that's what I've wanted to see from the beginning is a lot of drag routes, stuff like that. Maybe just something that's a little delayed. Might be hard to do those depending on how the offensive line's looking, but it looks like they've been playing well enough to be able to do that. But I just think you could utilize his speed in a lot of different ways other than just deep shots.
Right. The only other way they kind of utilize it is, running plays and reverses, things like that. I think they got to get him more involved in the short passing game, in my opinion.
Yep. Chef T says D-Hop's going to have a game. Brian Parrott says D-Hop needs to have a game. What do you think about D-Hop, Mike? What do you think he does tomorrow? You think we see a little bit more utilization than last week?
It's tough to say. It really is. I don't know exactly what you're going to get with D-Hop, and I'm going to tell you why. Because D-Hop is the exact wide receiver that struggles in our offense. He's the exact wide receiver that Mahomes doesn't throw the ball to because he won't separate tons.
And you saying that, I'm going to bring this up. Like, I actually saw a graphic earlier today. I wish I would have saved it. But it said the best hands in the NFL, and it had, the top 10. D-Hop, number 1.
Yeah.
And so you went from last year to, well, we would be good if the receivers could catch the ball, but they just can't catch anything, to having the most sure hands in the entire National Football League. So why are we not throwing it to him?
Well, that's the key. He does have good hands, but his separation is not good. It's not been in a few years. I want to say he's 40th in football this year.
Doesn't need to be.
Maybe 48th. He only averages about 2 yards of separation. I just give you the stat that Mahomes will not throw into tight windows and never
Exactly.
has.
So why can't we fix that? Why can't Andy Reid fix that? When I'll say this.
That's not on Andy Reid. That's on Patrick Mahomes.
I get it, but I mean, him, Nagy, the QB coach, like that's some kind of conversation they have to have here where they're like, look, here's the thing, Mike. Name me 3 cornerbacks in this league that you would not throw a contested catch to D-Hop and think that D-Hop's going to come down with it. You can't do it. Name me any corners in this league that you think would beat D-Hop in a contested catch situation.
I mean,
like he's going to come down with that ball 95% of the time.
There's a few. I mean, but it all depends on QB ball placement.
But does it? I mean, I feel like a lot of it's just if you watch D-Hop over the years, man.
Well, I mean,
put
look
the ball
at last week.
in his vicinity.
He almost had that amazing acrobatic catch, but ball placement was just a little off, and he couldn't come down.
I don't know how he almost caught that thing.
I don't either,
nuts.
but that proves that if you can almost come down with that, you're almost going to come down with a lot of things. Mahomes is just going to have to trust that, look, you're not going to get 3 and 4 yards of separation with D-Hop. Like, if the defender is on your hip, you are open. Put the ball out in front of him. Put it in a position, and Mahomes can do it.
Yeah.
He just tends not to want
Don
to
says
do it.
Mahomes is scared to death of throwing more interceptions, and that's the thing about it, Don. I do kind of get that vibe sometimes that he gets too safe. But I mean, the silly interceptions that happen right now, I would rather him throw interceptions trying to throw a ball to DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins coming over the middle on a crossing route with a defender on his hip, and Mahomes puts it out in front of him, and maybe the defender finds a burst of rocket up his ass and jumps the ball and takes it.
I would rather
take that than Mahomes having 5 people at his feet and flipping the ball over the middle like he did versus Buffalo in the first play of the game.
Throwing it into triple coverage.
That was stupid. Yeah. So, look, there's a difference between smart interceptions and stupid interceptions, and that was a big stupid one. A smart one is to try to get it to your playmaker, even in a tight window sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like I said, even just throwing it up to him, letting them go get it. Because, I mean, if there were to be a corner or somebody like that can beat D-Hop on a jump ball, then that's just a good play by them.
Yeah, Brent says we literally seen Mahomes dot up D-Hop in triple coverage.
Yeah, once. That's the only one that we've seen.
Though? He kind of just threw it out there, and D-Hop went and grabbed it.
It was kind of a dot, but it might have been a lucky dot. Just the way that worked.
That was was a Josh Allen type dot.
But I mean, it was an insane play, and it was perfect placement. Obviously, a lot goes into that, but that was a hell of a catch too by Hopkins. So that was just a crazy play.
I will say that's the kind of ball we just said that Mahomes will throw. He'll throw something stupid like that in the triple coverage, but he won't throw it when the guy's on the hip.
Anytime D-Hop's man, just single covered man, you throw it to him.
Yeah,
without a second thought. Like if he's double teamed, that's a different story. But if he is 1-on-1, you throw him the freaking ball. He used to do that
with Travis Kelce. Now you're not seeing it as much this year with Kelce, but I'm telling you, you're not seeing Patrick Mahomes play aggressive this year either. He has got his lowest aggressiveness rating. He's usually around the 0 mark, which means he's about even, and he's like at -3 this year. So he's just really playing it close to the vest.
Got a 5 bomb from Montre Demetrius Woods. Cool name there, brother. He says, what do you think about Xavier Howard of CB2? He's still a free agent. Xavier Howard, even though older, like his skill set and everything, sounds great to have him and that experience. But Xavier Howard's a bit of a pervert, and he's in a lot of trouble. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to attach.
I don't know why people haven't heard this story. This is where the media.
I mean, to be fair, I hadn't heard it either until you told me about it.
This is where the media and ESPN and big places like this drop the ball. Okay, because they never reported this story when it come out.
Because it wasn't relevant.
Offseason,
like, no
he got in trouble for getting a lady pregnant and trying to force her to have an abortion and sending naked pictures of his mom, of the kid's mom, to the kid in sexual situations. This dude is weird, okay? And nobody knows this. He's getting sued in court all over this. And I think the kid was a minor at the time. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard, and nobody knows about this. People keep repeating Xavier Howard, but it's because nobody understands it.
Well, nobody's heard about that, right? So, like, I hadn't either. But, I mean, if you're just looking at it without all the BS on the side, then cool. I think Xavier Howard's, like, a very experienced corner that probably still had a little bit of gas left in the tank and could help the team out a bit.
Right. And look, the case is not with the trial yet, so it's allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But that's why I think he's not being signed. There's a lot of court issues there and a lot of legal stuff.
A lot of stuff people don't want to put their name on, huh? Gamer Player with another 5 bombs. Says, I'm betting hard on D-Hop for tomorrow. I'm going D-Hop for 75 plus and a tutty. Bet on Worthy tomorrow as well. So says the Gamer. Hey, that's cool. I hope they both hit. You know what? Gamer likes to share his wealth. When he hits, he'll come in here and drop a 10. He'll be like, here you go. Here's your piece of the pie, baby.
But we didn't help him do it. So should we give Gamer an insight tomorrow?
Well, we don't want to mess his flow up. He's obviously done pretty good by himself. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Special shout out to KW for the 100 bomb. What about that, baby?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Appreciate you, my man. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff to you and everybody else that donated. We appreciate you guys helping support the channel. It goes a long way. You guys are the real ones. Appreciate you all being here. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. And we'll catch you here tomorrow post-game to talk about the Chiefs' win over the Carolina Panthers, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Travis Kelce Day.
There goes a sight from my soul.